Find insight, guidance, and answers. Tune into Spirit with radio medium Laura Lee.
I have my special guest here on air with us today. Author Lee Tomlinson is joining us to talk about his book, Compassion Heals, From Self-Care to Healthcare. And Lee is better known as the patient Lee, and we'll get to reasons why that is in a few minutes here. But he is here to inspire healthcare professionals to return to compassionate care to its rightful place at the forefront of modern healthcare to benefit patients, their families, the bottom line, and perhaps most importantly, the often suffering burned out selves. Welcome, Lee, to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah. You know, in your book, you go on to discuss how you lived a charmed life. You were a former professional athlete, a tennis pro?
Player.
Yeah. Wow. Tennis
5
pro.
years. Yep.
Wow. And then you went from there to, you were a studio executive, owner, now a speaker and a TED Talk presenter, among many other wonderful attributes, and author. Patiently give us a background how you got from point A to point B.
Well, you know, like you said, I have led a very charmed life. Having said that, I have an addiction to adrenaline. So I've been hospitalized in 6 different countries, broken over a dozen bones, thumb pulled off, skin grafts, bone grafts, you name it. However, the worst of all of them is on June 23rd, 2012 at 11:28, I went to my ENT for an allergy test and walked out 3 hours later with a diagnosis of stage 3 plus stage 4 throat cancer. Never smoked, never drank, never did any of that. Healthiest guy you ever knew. Bad luck, as they said. And I thought I was tough, having gone through all those medical experiences. But I have to say, if you added them all up and multiplied them times 1,000, it would not be as bad as my cancer treatment. At the very end of it, when I'd had 3 months of chemo, followed by 35 straight days of atomic blasts to the tender end of my tongue, right down at right where it joins the throat. I was in excruciating pain, and then was hospitalized with a life-threatening infection at the site of my port. So I hadn't worked in 10 months, running up huge medical bills. Didn't know if I was going to survive the cancer. Now I have an infection. I'm a jerk when I'm sick. I have found out when I'm in deep pain, I sometimes can be a jerk. So my relationship with my 30-year wife was in danger. So my life was a mess. If there ever was a time when I could have used some simple human kindness, it was in the hospital from hell, and I got 0. And when I put my life in the hands of someone and they don't think I'm worth simple human kindness or compassion, I believe it, because I believe everything they say, or I wouldn't be with them. And I decided to end my life. The world would be a much better place if I ended my life. And I had a plan to do that. Put on the fentanyl patches. I had unlimited amounts, but I didn't know how many. If I put too many on, it'd be suicide. My family couldn't collect. So doctor friend came to visit the day after I got out of the hospital, and he did some remarkable things. One is it was hard to speak. I croaked out all the problems I had and all the miserable care, not treatment. I was still alive. And he lowered his eyes, lowered his voice, put his hand on my arm and said, "Lee, I am so sorry for the compassion you didn't get." He said, "It's critical and it's happening more and more. And you're not the only one, but it's horrible. I'm so sorry." He had nothing to do with it, but he apologized. And he said, "But Lee, rather than giving up and giving in, how about this? How about you fight? And if you live, start a movement or something and see if you can't do something to solve the problem of the rapidly disappearing presence of the immense healing power of compassion in healthcare and the world." In that minute,
Mind
his
blown.
compassion for me
Right.
saved my life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the result is the Compassion Heals movement, whose goal it is to return the scientifically proven healing power of compassion to modern medicine as it should be. And that's what we're up to.
Lovely story. Gosh, we're so much more close to a timeout. So real quickly,
Yes.
if you could give anyone out there who is a caretaker right now,
Yep.
and there's so many of them that are burned out from what's
Yeah.
happened over
Yeah.
the last year and a half, or even taking care of a loved one who's still going through the after effects of COVID, what can you share with them real quickly with the last few minutes?
Yeah. Get help. Get help. Put your
Yes.
needs first.
Yes.
You see, if you're not healthy, if you're not rested, if you're
Right.
not well fed, if you're not in your best place,
Mm-hmm.
you can't be a caregiver. It is
Right.
impossible. So I don't care whether you work in healthcare or you're outside of healthcare caring for a loved one or anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of you.
Right.
Find a way to take a day off. Find a way to, have someone else come in and help you. Figure it out. But put you first. It's not selfish. It's a necessity if you want to be your loving self to the people you care for.
You have a beautiful message, and I want to share more time with you, and we will. Where can people find your book?
They can go to a place called Amazon. You've probably heard of it. It's on Amazon and it's on Kindle. And you can go to my website, which is www.leetomlinson.com, and it's on there as well. But go to Amazon. It's
Compassion.
just easier.
Right. Compassion Heals is the book.
Yep.
And thanks for sharing your time with us today, but we will be back with a second half. Stay tuned into the show for more with Lee. In the meantime, if you'd like more answers, our call lines are open. So just go on over to radiomediumlauralee.com and sign up. And I look forward to hearing from you.
So do I.